Hey, wonderful people, wonderful people. A pleasant evening to you. So, beautiful people, I bought the Daily Observer for Monday. Today is the 8th. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I'm looking something here in the editorial. It says mental health in ministry. When I initially saw this, I was thinking of the regular ministries, like you would say Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor, and so on. I said, but why would it be in the singular ministry? But I mean, ministry could be in the singular, which covers all the different ministries. But I remember saying that in my mind. So I said, let me just do a quick glance. And I realized it was talking about church ministry, whether pastoral ministry predominantly or people, who are just in the church. So it says, Dear editor, ministry is a sacred calling, one rooted in servanthood, compassion, and the transformative power of God's grace. Having served in ministry for nearly 3 decades, I have witnessed both its profound joys and its demanding challenges. While ministers are called to guide others through spiritual and emotional trials, the toll this takes on our own well-being often goes unnoticed. The multifaceted challenges of ministry, navigating leadership responsibilities, meeting the diverse needs of congregants, and managing personal burdens, demand a level of resilience that can leave even the strongest feeling drained, which is a reality, no matter how strong you are. And oh boy, I can tell you that from experiences. Yet the question remains, does leadership truly grasp the complexities and mental health needs of those in ministry? For too long, mental health in ministry has been marginalized, overshadowed by a focus on spiritual service alone. However, the Bible offers a clear call to holistic care, encompassing mind, body, and soul. Romans 12:2 reminds us, to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, emphasizing that mental restoration is integral to our spiritual journey. Jesus himself modeled self-care, which is true, withdrawing from the crowds to pray and recharge, as seen in Luke 5:16. This example underscores the importance of creating spaces for rest and renewal within ministry, recognizing that we cannot pour into others from an empty vessel. So if you don't get rest, recreation, relaxation, and reassurance, your vessel is going to be empty. Toxicity in ministry. Oh my God, when I see this. Oh my gosh, I know this all too well. Most of my negative experiences, my vitriol, have come from so-called church people. Evil as they come, my beautiful people. Evil as they come. Toxicity in ministry, whether from manipulative leadership, and let me tell you, not all leaders that you see are leaders in the church are true leaders. Some are manipulative. And if anybody you see epitomizes control, they don't understand that the etymology of control is witchcraft. Anybody who tries to control, it is witchcraft. That is why, we have to be careful how we say, Lord. Well, we say, Lord, take full control. I know what they're saying. He wants him to be in full charge of it. But control in its rawest, I call that word, form, is really, so it's not just a boogly woogly hocus pocus, is witchcraft. Because control is not of God. He has given us volition and choices. So human beings ought not to take it from anyone, whether it's your child, your spouse, your friend, or foe. No. Toxicity in ministry. Notice how many times I'm saying it? Whether from manipulative leadership, unrealistic expectations. Don't feel that everybody in the church are wheat. Some are tears. And you can't pull them up because sometimes the tears look like wheat and you might end up pulling out wheat. That is why Jesus says, leave them on the day of harvest. We know if we separate the bush from the real grass. Or insufficient support. Be aware that you may not necessarily get support from church people. It's a reality. A lot of people are narcissistic and arrogant rude, disrespectful, evil, and ungodly, and they're in the church. Please note that. Or insufficient support further exacerbates the strain on mental health. Ministers often endure indignities such as undue criticism. Lord, move, pastor, your thief out the money out of the collection plate. And I love sleep with my young girl. That's all I talk about pastors these days. You have to be let me tell you, God will hold many of you accountable for these things that you're doing, That's total disrespect. Have you gotten all the information on every pastor in the world to talk about most and have a figure? Did you get that statistics from a reliable source? Undue criticism or isolation while striving to fulfill their calling. Over time, this environment can lead to emotional exhaustion, burnout, or even spiritual disillusionment. Addressing these challenges requires intentional action, guided by both biblical principles and psychological insights. The psychological aspect of ministry cannot be overlooked. It cannot be. That's a part of ministry. We have mind, body, and soul. God gave us wisdom. When you talk about Luke in the Bible, he was a medical doctor. And that is why he wrote the way how he had written from a medical's perspective, especially talking about the blood and whatnot. God gave us wisdom. We have to use it here on earth. That's why you have counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, etc. So the psychological aspect of ministry cannot be overlooked. Research in mental health highlights the importance of self-awareness, emotional resilience, and the role of community in fostering well-being. It's not just intelligence. You have to have emotional tenacity and toughness to deal with life. You have to be self-aware. You have to see the uglies of you. The only way for you to heal, when you go to a doctor, you don't go when you're feeling well and all dandy and sweet. Yes, you might do executive profiles if required or medical, but let us say those were not necessary. And people do the checkups because they want to see if all is well with them. But if you're not feeling well, you're going to say to the doctor, this is what is happening to you. So you have to say that to God. Say, God, I say this about myself and it's ugly. It's grimy. It's greasy. It's terrible. It feels horrible to you, but that's the best way to get healing and to become the best version of you. So you have to do that. It's incumbent upon you too. Ministers need programs and initiatives designed to support their mental health, not as an afterthought, but as a priority. This includes access to counseling, peer support networks, and workshops on stress management and conflict resolution. By addressing these needs, ministry can be revitalized, allowing leaders to serve effectively while safeguarding their own health. And he says this, I recommend the following for fostering mental health in ministry. 1. Establish comprehensive support programs. Churches and denominations should develop structured programs that provide ministers with counseling, mentorship, and resources for managing stress and emotional challenges. 2. Promote rest and renewal. Following Jesus' example, leaders must be encouraged to take intentional breaks for rest, prayer, and reflection. Sabbaticals and personal retreats should become normalized practices within ministry. Sometimes you may have to take a few months. Sabbatical, may mean that. Get yourself back together. 3. Cultivate a culture of transparency. Be real and care. Leadership must prioritize open communication, creating a safe environment in which ministers feel valued and supported. Peer support groups can also foster solidarity and reduce isolation. Oftentimes they feel isolated. Ministry is a journey of profound faith and dedication, yet it must also be a place of healing and mutual care. By addressing the mental health needs of ministers and fostering environments of support, the church can reflect the fullness of Christ's love, not only for its congregants, but also for those called to lead. This is not just a practical necessity, but a theological imperative, ensuring that those who shepherd others can themselves flourish in their sacred calling a word to the wise is sufficient unto the day. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe and give me one of those lions.